Good afternoon and welcome all. My name is Daniel Cairns. I'm the head of enrolments here at Fourth Rev, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this event today. Getting to know the support team for the Data Science Career Accelerator from the University of Cambridge Institute of Continuing Education in collaboration with us here at Fourth Rev. Thank you for giving up your lunchtime or wherever it is that you are. I can see there's some people from different parts of the world, as I am as well. But a couple of quick things first, because we've got some really exciting discussion to have for your benefit of understanding the support behind the Career Accelerator upcoming. Firstly, this is about you as well. So please do engage with the things that we either pop in the chat function, or if you would like to ask one of our panel a specific question, pop it in the Q&A as we go, and we'll certainly have a section of the event dedicated to answering your specific questions as well. I'm going to provide a quick overview of the program before I introduce the panel and ask some questions of them as well. So first, good on you. It's a big thing to take time out of your day to attend a webinar. They're so frequent these days, but hopefully we can not only demonstrate to you and provide you the value you're seeking in the hour ahead or so. I've also got a special for those in attendance regarding coaching that we'll discuss in a moment. So without further ado, what I'll do is just give you a very quick overview of the program, and then we'll get to the panel, and I'll certainly stick around after the panel discussion and after we've answered your questions if you have any more specific ones regarding the actual program. We're most excited to be working in collaboration with Cambridge ICE on this really innovative new Career Accelerator. At Fourth Rev, we've been running successfully the Career Accelerator model for a number of years with different universities, and this is the first one with Cambridge. What makes the Career Accelerator unique is a number of things. Firstly, and most importantly, I guess, it's a collaboration between academia and industry. So when we design the content, it is industry that provide the bedrock and the university that provide the academic underpinnings, ensuring that you've got the rigor behind the content, but certainly the relevance for you to demonstrate to employers, be it that you're seeking to change career into data science or extend your existing career in data science. So what that means is we've developed a 7-month program that is comprised of 4 units or 4 courses and 1 live industry project at the end. Course 1, you've probably seen, applying statistics and core data science techniques in business. Course 2, that runs for 6 weeks, so you get a week break. Course 2, solving business problems with supervised learning. Again, 6 weeks with a week's break. Course 3 is applying advanced data science techniques, and that runs for a little longer. It's a 10-week course, and that has a week's break in the middle. And then we run Course 4 concurrently with the industry project. Course 4 is really important. It's the future of data science, encompassing generative AI, ChatGPT, and tools such as that, enabling your application of learning then to a live industry-facing project at the end. So with our partners such as Bank of England and others, you as a part of a team will be introduced to them. They will give you a real challenge in which they're currently facing, accessing both publicly and privately held large data sets, and applying your new skills from those first 4 courses. As a team, you'll come up with innovative and tangible solutions to that scenario, presenting your findings back to the client in a consultancy style presentation at the end, the benefits of which are numerous. It's practical application of learning. Most importantly, it's a brilliant networking opportunity, not only with your peers, but also industry. And when you are going for your dream job as a data scientist, potentially, it is a most inspiring demonstration of your value to a prospective employer, to demonstrate how you have had the industry experience or worked with the likes of Bank of England and others as well. There is an entry criteria that we'll drop a link into shortly. There's also a brochure that you can download. We are offering interest and fee-free payment plans for the program, and I'm happy to walk through really in depth a lot more of that at the end of the panel discussion. But I think the most important thing is to get to that as quickly as possible. The upcoming presentation commences on the 24th of June. We only have 60 or so placements available, and then we are over 70% subscribed already. There'll be another link in the chat shortly regarding the best thing that you can do after today is to book a time with your enrolment advisor or apply. And I will mention at the end of the session a really exciting special that would like to further enhance your intended outcomes. Before I introduce the panel though, what would be interesting to know from yourselves is just in 2 words in the chat function, if you could drop in what you currently do and what you're seeking. So if you're a teacher looking to change careers, just to give us an understanding of the audience demographic and how many career changes there are, as opposed to someone that's already a data science looking to apply new skills to their role and things like that. So in the chat function, just put what it is that you currently do and what you're seeking to achieve potentially by studying data science with Cambridge Institute of Continuing Education and us here at 4th Rev. Without further ado though, it gives me great pleasure once again to welcome an esteemed panel of guests today who are integral in both the support of you, the potential learner in this program, and enabling your successful completion of the program first and foremost, but also leveraging the new skills and your transferable skills for profiling to employers. So I'm going to go around the circle as it is in order and ask that you introduce yourselves. And Kazi, I'm going to start with you. Thank you ever so kindly, and welcome. It's great to see you again.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Daniel, and welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It's so great to have everybody here. My name is Kazi Jonas. I am a student success manager. Very excited to hopefully meet some of you when you join us in the program. My role essentially, and not to take too long, is I always say I am the compass for you when you do join us in the program. So I'm your go-to person for any support you may need. If there's anything you're unsure about, you would reach out to me. We would also have our own sessions for support, for clarity, and ensuring that, you know, your progress in the program is going very, very smoothly. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Such a good introduction, and I love that, the way you've described the compass in your support. Thank you, Kazi. Jack, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So my name is Jack Ganaway, and I am one of the industry mentors on the program. I'll talk a little bit more in detail about my role later on, but essentially I am the kind of the partner to the academic tutor on the course. And I provide, I guess, a view into the industrial practical life of a data scientist. So I've been working in analytics and data science for the last 16 years. I'm currently working as an independent consultant in data science and analytics with clients in the Netherlands and Germany. I've worked in multiple sectors, public, private sector. So I like to think that I can bring an insight into what the work of a data scientist is like. And I'll talk a bit more about that later on.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jake. And it's a great segue to Alexia on the academic side.
Hi, thanks, Daniel. And it's so nice to see such diverse fields as well from the participants and areas they are working on. So my name is Alexia Cardona. I'm one of the course leads of the Data Science Career Accelerator. As in my role as Jack, we will be discussing this later on in this webinar, but essentially I'm here to guide you during the course to make sure you're understanding the concepts introduced in the course. In my role at the university, I'm also a course lead for data science and data management, and have been working also with different partners across Europe as well in this area. So my expertise is on the educational and the academic side of things, and mainly to ensure that you are learning well throughout this journey.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alexia. And last but certainly not least, Tracy, welcome. Great to see you as always.
Thanks, Daniel. Thanks. And welcome, everyone. And I'll Alexia's thoughts. It's great to see the diverse range of people, backgrounds, and that's one of the exciting things of my role as a career coach here at 4threv, is dealing with such an interesting and diverse range of individuals. So I've been a career coach for 4threv for a couple of years, and before I became a coach, I pivoted about 14 years ago from recruitment into coaching. I was, quite good at recruitment, but really didn't enjoy it. And I found a career that I absolutely love. I genuinely, really still, after 14 years, love the job that I do. And my role is in working with individuals is to help them identify careers that they love. And also on the executive coaching side, give them the skills and techniques and the behaviours to be able to achieve those goals while still loving their career. So I'm here to support the learners as a career coach.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tracy. And for everyone in attendance, whether it is advancing your career or making that big decision to change, an investment in oneself is critical, but it's also making the most of that and the opportunity that presents as well. So today, what we do have is the representation of success manager in Kazi, as we said, industry mentor in Jack, academic support in Alexia, and career coach. That's already representative of a great deal of support in demonstration. Now we're going to drill into each of those areas as to what that looks like for you. And just a reminder, if you do have any specific questions, pop them in the Q&A and we'll get to them. Kazi, I'd like to ask first to start framing the support networks for learners. What is meant by the term real-time support network when referencing the Career Accelerator?
Thank you so much for that, Daniel. I think, with asynchronous learning, it can be a bit tricky in getting an understanding of what kind of support you would be getting. And I think the benefit of our accelerator is that you do have support daily. You've got a team that is online, that is available for you every day. So for example, you will have a success manager that you can reach out to. We have got a support email for our learners where they are able to reach out to us. What is beautiful about the support email is that even if your success manager is unfortunately not available on that day, there is somebody else that is able to step in and see to whatever support you are looking for. We've got this team that has beautifully introduced themselves, who are the resources that all the learners have, and they're able to schedule one-to-one sessions with members of the team so that they can meet them or get the information that they are needing. And I think they will also go into specifically what they do in their roles. So for example, with me, you will have conversations around any challenges you may be having while you are studying. You will go through any clarity with policy that is needed. As I said, I'm your compass as well. So if there's anything you're unsure about in terms of who to reach out to for support that you need, I would be that person. We've got working hours, which is also beautiful, which we share with the learners so that they know that when do they have access to us, and we can always arrange that to tailor individually to their personal experience. So that is what we mean by the real-time support, that as much as there's the asynchronous side, there is support. We've got weekly live sessions as well, where they can engage and collaborate with their mentors and tutors. So that also, that involvement is also very beneficial to the learners. Sorry, Daniel, you're on mute.
I think I've hosted 100 of these and I don't think I've done that. But what I was going to say was, firstly, thank you. And I'm going to just jump ahead to another question for you, Kazi, if I may, because I feel it's best to frame for the audience what a working and learning week looks like. So what would a typical week of learning look like for a learner from their perspective? And then I'll go into ask Tracy about fitting it all in.
All right, great. That's an amazing question. I think, we're very accommodating of different schedules. However, we do have requirements that need to be met. And these requirements are there to ensure each learner's success in the program. So we do have time allocated, for example, each week that we do advise, and quite strongly advise, that learners stick to, which is a minimum of 20 hours per week with engagement with the course content. And we advise this because we know what the program entails, and they need possibly even a little bit more. As I say, it's a minimum of 20 hours. Some weeks may be more, depending on how challenging the activities of that week may be. As I said, this is for the success of the learner. What we also have weekly, and this is what their week would look like, are their live sessions where they would be joining Alexia. And I think, Alexia has also portrayed for us beautifully that these are for that guidance and support. We also advise that they come a little bit prepared to these sessions, so that 20 hours, you spread it out in your week, depending on what your week looks like. Some people have more time on certain days than others. So there isn't a rigid approach in how that 20 hours is spread out for each learner's week. Our weekly live sessions are on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So you attend a session that accommodates your schedule, be it the Wednesday evening session or the Thursday afternoon session. So we've got an evening and an afternoon, once again, taking into consideration that our schedules are not the same. These are also important because as much as there is the content side in our Career Accelerator, we are very big on engagement. I think we touched on the importance of networking and collaboration. So we do advise learners to attend these sessions as they are quite important.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I just had to double check that I wasn't on mute again. Thank you. Tracy, any tips on, I guess, how the support network can assist learners fit, that amount of learning into a week, especially when we know the majority may have either both family commitments and certainly work commitments?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really important consideration, and we do spend time talking about this. I think one thing just to remember is the whole support team here is here to walk with you on this journey. We want you to succeed, and we're here to support you in that. So the support you get is very tailored to you as an individual. From a coaching perspective, it's not a process to go through. It's very much person-centered. Each session is different depending on your needs. But I think in terms of where we can help practically, it's not unusual for us as coaches to have sessions on time management. And I always joke with the learners that this isn't a data science course. It's actually a disguised time management course, because by the end of it, you'll be brilliant at managing your time. You're going to have to be. So we can help with sort of time management techniques. Again, everyone's different. It's finding the way that works for you. So, some people it's short bursts, some people it's long sessions, but we will help you find your rhythm with the learning and fitting the learning in. It does require prioritization, and some of that prioritization is your social life, but we also help you work out what your vision is, what your motivation is, why you're doing this course. And if you've got that clarity once you've spoken to your career coach of why you're doing it, why it's important to you, it does really help you when you go through the tough times of trying to fit it in with everything else that's going on in your life. So it's the sort of practical time management side of things, but also the motivation. I think another common theme that we come across with our learners on this course is perfectionism tendencies. So you won't be able to do everything to the very, very high standards you want to set yourself if you're a perfectionist. So, we really help individuals work out when those tendencies work. Sometimes it's really important that you keep those high standards, but also when good enough is good enough. And, so it's that part of that prioritization, but helping people who do tend to set themselves very, very high goals. And also the coaching sessions are very much tailored around when you need them. We're not going to force you into doing coaching session when you're really busy. Absolutely not. We want to make sure that you get the absolute most out of the one-to-one sessions. And they can be spread over the course, even beyond the course. You can use the coaching sessions. So, fit them in when suits you. Certainly don't book a session with a coach if your assignment's due later on that week, because you probably won't be listening to us. You'll be focusing on your assignment.
Very, very good point. And it is always rewarding to see the outcomes of that, as you said, the commitment and the sacrifice. And I'm going to touch on that in a decision-making process a little later on. Alexia, what makes this career, and there's a question relating to this in the Q&A box in comparison to Coursera that I'll certainly elaborate on, but what makes this Career Accelerator different from other programs on offer, specifically in terms of the level of support on offer?
Thank you. Thanks, Daniel, for the question. So I think, so the aim of this program is to ensure that you acquire data science skills and competencies that are aligned with the business needs. And as part of the program, we use different ways of doing this, and I'll be going through so that you get an idea of how the support also is integrated. So as Daniel has also mentioned previously, and Kazi, this course is a synchronous course. So you will be learning essentially at your own pace. We will be providing you with course materials, which has also videos to help you go through the concepts each week. And then after that, there's also the hands-on experience. So it's not just course materials, but we give you activities and projects that are there to help you practice the concepts. And the projects especially are real world projects. So the data and the application is in a business context, which makes it different from other, general projects that you would get in other course. So it's really helpful because you will learn then how to tackle the problems in a systematic way and how to deal in a real life scenario. There are also, which I think this is also the thing that excel in this course, you have the industry mentorship, and Jack, I'm sure you will be talking about this very soon. So it's not just me giving you, teaching you, but there's also then the industry perspective. So you will have also sessions, frequent sessions with the industry mentor who will provide you with insights into current trends and best practices in the area. Tracy has already talked about this. You also have one-to-one career coaching, which again, it's something that is very different from a normal course that you would normally get. So you will get career guidance as well throughout the course. And I think one of the key things also in this project is the life industry project at the end of the course. So at the very end, after the 3 courses that you will get, all focus on different themes of data science, which are very much state of the art, you will get 6 weeks working experience through a live project with a high profile company. So we're talking companies such as the Bank of England, where essentially, so it's not just learning and all this diverse support that you get throughout the process, but then those 6 weeks, it's also work experience on your tick sheet, kind of, that you can show off after the course. And these things are very important, because I know many people who after an internship ended up working for the companies because they performed very well, and you get contacts as well in the process. So these are all things that you would normally not get from a normal course, but I feel this accelerator is specifically designed to help you in these additional aspects to excel your career and start your journey also in the real world.
Wonderful, and thank you for that overview. It's most appreciated, and also some of the questions that are coming through are fantastic. I can't wait to get to them. But you mentioned the industry mentor, and I'm going to come to you, Jack. Welcome first once again. But we'd love an overview or an explanation, I guess, of the role of the industry mentor in supporting learners of the program, because it is quite unique.
It is, yes. Thank you, Daniel. And when I heard about this role, I thought that's that makes this course stand out significantly from both academic sort of in-person learning, but also from online learning, like, I mean, the Coursera that someone mentioned in the question, because in neither of those settings do you have this industry mentor role. And I think data science, being, well, in an accelerator course, the whole purpose is that you want to develop your career in some way, and having someone as part of the course who can give you some insight into how the industry works, how your role could look in different places, and how and I guess most significantly, how to have an impact with the techniques that you're using or that you're learning about in the course. I think that's really something special.
I completely agree. And the pace of change we're experiencing, someone much wiser than me, I mentioned this in another webinar this week, someone much wiser than me a few years ago said the pace of change has never been this fast, yet it will never be this slow again. That's challenging for many programs and institutes to keep up with in terms of curriculum development. Yet from your perspective, you've seen this one as it's so new and fresh, including AI and ChatGPT techniques in the final segment. Do you find that alignment also from the industry perspective being so important?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when I started my career, data science wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we're all here. So yeah, I think the adaptation of the course to how things are in the industry at the moment, yes, is also quite compelling. And I think that's on the specifics of LLMs and ChatGPT and so on. I think that there are some very interesting opportunities there, both in terms of the building them for use by the company you might work for, but also using them as a data scientist, as a partner in your work. There's a lot of interesting opportunities, and hopefully the learners will get to think about that as they get to that stage.
Exactly. During the process of preparing someone to succeed in the Career Accelerator, we do have an extensive orientation program. And part of that is not only setting up to succeed via goal setting and so forth, but there's also the development, Kazi, of a personal studies schedule. Can you tell us what that looks like in week 1 of the program?
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Daniel. And I think it's an important part of the program. I think we have shared, that there are different schedules, people are working, there's personal lives, and yes, there may be sacrifices here and there for the duration of the program that will need to be made. Tracy did lay out that our support is also quite individually tailored, because each learner is going to have individual needs. From their week, they're going to have different schedules that they are needing to accommodate. And what we use the orientation part of the program as well is to prepare for this, so that when we get into course 1, we are not only then starting to figure out, how am I going to do this? So we're going to have tailored individualized support for each learner. We will be having one-to-one sessions with each learner before they start with course 1 to chat about their personal experience, what they're wanting out of the program, what their week looks like. Have a look at a few things that we need to move around in their schedule, or a few things where possible that we may need to remove to be able to accommodate what they are needing to do for the program. For example, we've mentioned that we've got the engagement side of the program, which is not always too flexible. For example, our weekly live sessions are on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So we've tried to meet them halfway there by having an evening and an afternoon session. So these are the things that we are going to have a look at. And they will also then, obviously, the schedule that a learner will have will be based on the demands of their personal lives, in accommodating as well one-to-one sessions for their support with their career coach, with their student success manager, where needed with the industry mentor or the tutor. And that's what we're going to be looking at during orientation, to ensure that they are all set, confident, and ready, and feel they are able to excel in the program at the start of course 1.
And that's so important. Hit the ground running with full confidence, isn't it? I've only got one or two more questions, and we're going to get to the audience questions, which are brilliant. And please, if you do have any, don't hesitate to pop them in the Q&A function down the bottom there. Tracy, I love having been involved with the Career Accelerators now for 3 years, or over 3 years, and seeing so many amazing career outcomes from all of our Career Accelerators. It's the value of the career coaching that sometimes surprises learners as to how much they gain from that. But can you talk to that value of the coaching that the learners get to access as a part of the program?
Yes, certainly, Daniel, and I agree with you. The outcomes that people get, whether it's pivoting their career to a completely new job as a data scientist, or it's developing their career further to get that promotion that they've been looking for, it's the best bit of our job. And it's also great because we share it with the whole organisation, and the whole organisation is excited when somebody gets what they want, because each step in the process, everybody's been involved at Fourth Rev, which is why it's such a great experience. So, I mean, what you get from career coaching very much depends on where you're at with your thinking and what you want to do. So, as Kazi said, it is very, very bespoke to you as an individual. But I would say that the two things that stand out that are common is two words that come to mind. One is clarity and the other is confidence. So the clarity comes in a number of different forms. I think we encourage individuals to get to know themselves better first before we talk about career goals and aims, because the better you know yourself, the better decisions you'll make as to what a great career looks like for you. And I think sometimes people take on assumptions. I want to go this ladder, or this is the right route. But we just challenge those assumptions a little bit by helping people uncover what their drivers are, what success looks like for them, what are their values, so that they can identify the right culture and organisation. And as I've said to you before, it's what they enjoy, not just what you're good at. I was good at recruitment, didn't enjoy it, but it's what you love to do and want to do more of. So it's that clarity in terms of what you're looking for from your career, and clarity in terms of what strengths you're bringing. And for the changes amongst you, you've got loads of transferable skills. You'll be surprised when we talk about your transferable skills. Don't think you're starting out from scratch. There's a lot that you're going to bring to the table, as well as all this great knowledge from the Career Accelerator. So it's understanding of your strengths and skills, but also understanding why you want to do it, so you'll be more motivated, enthusiastic when you go to the market. And there's also part of that clarity, it's exploring options. I think the term data scientist covers a multitude of, multitude of sins. I'm not sure that's the right expression, but a multitude of roles and different emphasis. So it's exploring different ways of working, different parts of data science, so that you can get clarity of direction of travel. The confidence piece, it comes from talking to a coach about your strengths, what you've achieved, what you love to do, and also obviously the knowledge that you're going to learn on the course. And it's great to see as people progress through the course. They start at the beginning, particularly the career changes, but it can be the advances as well, where it's, well, I think I want to do this, but, not sure I've got the right skills, to halfway through going, I'm a data scientist and this is what I want to do, with loads of confidence because of all the hard work they've just put in to the previous few months. So it's getting that confidence so that you can be brave and go out and get what you're looking for. And we do encourage people to be brave, not to stay so much in your comfort zone, because we know our experience tells us that individuals can often achieve a lot more than they think. So it's that confidence, as well as the one-to-one coaching sessions. We also offer an online tool which is very extensive, called Owning Your Career, which is there as a backup to the one-to-one sessions that we do, so that you can do the theory of your personal branding, or the theory of interviews, so that when you talk to your coach, we can be specific about you. We don't need to go through the theory. We also have skill sessions on various different topics, like mindset, having a positive mindset, imposter syndrome, leadership, when we talk about the employer projects. And there's a channel in what we use circles for your community channel, and there's a coaching channel, career coaching channel in that for you to ask questions, share knowledge with other individuals. And we also run what we call sprint sessions, which is where we get small groups of you together when you're ready to go to market or get that internal promotion, and support each other, facilitated by coaches, but support each other to achieve your outcomes. Because when you talk about the networking, which if you talk to a career coach, we'll talk to you a lot about your networks. For some people, it's hard to get over that barrier of networking, and that's why we've set up these sort of peer group sessions where the coach is there to facilitate, but it's to get people to take action, and they're working really, really well. We've had some really, really nice outcomes from those. Thanks, Daniel.
We have many, and it's so innovative, and as I said at the commencement of that question, so sometimes surprising for learners as to the value. Last two questions for me, Alexia. The role of the Cambridge ICE tutor on the program, yourself included, obviously, to give us a quick overview and synopsis on that one as well, even though you touched on it briefly earlier. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that as well?
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Daniel. So essentially, we are 3 tutors in this Data Science Career Accelerator. We have 3 different courses, so each tutor takes care of the different courses throughout the course. And our role essentially is every week we will be delivering the live session. So you will have a live session where we will go over the concepts introduced during the week, and also have the opportunity to work on some of the activities during that week. We also have the support forum. So you will also have access to a support forum that, you know, after the live session, if you still have difficulties, you can put your questions there, and we will be able to help you address that as well. Further to that, in case you still have difficulties, we also provide one-to-one support sessions where essentially, you know, for example, if you have really a problem understanding a concept, you can ask to have a one-to-one support session, and that would be a session, you know, where we can go really into detail for that person to understand the difficulties and try to help you with that. And we also have other one-to-one support sessions as well with the different people, like technical support, for example, if you have problems with Python. So there's all support tailored to really, because our aim is to help you, right? To help you get these skills, to help you accelerate your career. And we're here really to support you. So all these different roles that we have, all these different support sessions that we produce are deliberately and specifically targeted to support you throughout this journey.
Excellent. Thank you. My last one, Jack. With no exams in the program, the benefit is twofold, in that it's more practical in the learning, but there's also a development of a portfolio along the way that you can demonstrate to a existing or potential employee. Can you give us an overview of the support in terms of the portfolio development?
Yeah, thank you. So again, I think the portfolio is one of the interesting concepts that this course has, that as you go along, you're building this evidence pack essentially for the skills that you've got and the things that you've learned. And I think the direction I want to sort of try and push that in is think, well, I have hired data scientists. What do I want to see? What would I want someone to put in front of me on a table and say, this is what I can do? And because what you don't want is sort of something that's huge and massive and long and detailed. You want something that just succinctly shows you the breadth and depth of skills that this person has, and most importantly, the impact that they can have. And clearly, when you're doing something in academic in a course like this, you're, apart from when you get to the end, when you may have a real impact on a business, prior to that, you're looking at demonstrating how you could have impact. But then when you do get to the end, and sorry, I can't remember the name for it. The 6-week
employer project.
Yes. That's when you can demonstrate that you have had real impact on a real organization. And for me, that's the biggest hurdle to success in data science as an industry, is demonstrating your personal impact on an organization. And I think that's something which this course is really focused on. And the portfolio is essentially the documentation of your contribution to that impact.
Completely agree. Fantastic. We're going to get to some of the wonderful questions from the audience now. I'll answer some as well, and I'll hand around others to whom may be best positioned to answer that. I'm going to start with Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. What a great name you have as well, Daniel. Are employers career accelerator savvy in terms of accepting or recognizing it when starting out as a new data scientist? And I guess he's added something there compared to specific data programming certification and masters. Yes, is the short answer, but I'll ask anyone else if they'd like to add more. And I think it was Jack that was willing to expand on that. I've got some thoughts as well.
Well, yeah, I think this course is interesting for employers for multiple reasons. One goes back to Tracy's point about time management. Someone who's been able to successfully get through this course while also doing something else in their life, parking the question of the content, that on its own is impressive. And other sort of online asynchronous courses without the level of support that this one has don't really compete on that at all. And also if you're doing something within in-person full-time learning, time management is not really a challenge there, because that's all you're doing. Whereas on this, you're having to balance a lot of stuff. The fact that this course is focused on impact, which again, other online courses aren't really focused on impact. Academic courses are more focused on the academic detail and the rigor of the methods. Again, it is something which I think this differentiates this course really well. My aim with this is to try and sort of think, well, how do I shape people into, how do I help shape people into someone who I would want to hire when they finish it?
Brilliant answer. All of the career accelerators, but this one in particular has a quadrant of learning, as we call it. There's certainly the technical, and it's rigorous. But as I mentioned at the top, it's the business application of that employers need to see and they value so much. There's also the personal growth aspect, as you've certainly touched on, Jack, and others already, as well as Tracy's area in the employability. So those 4 areas together help you shine in front of an employer, and always the brands in which you're studying with are synonymous with employment outcomes, particularly as well. I guess this is for Alexia. The data science course provides knowledge on quantum and its practical application in data science. That's a question. I'm assuming.
Thanks, Danny. No, we don't cover quantum. I'm sure the support team can provide you the link where there's a brief overview of the topics. But I can go through them quickly now. So essentially, course 1 is essentially the foundations of data science. So we will look into statistical techniques, feature engineering, unsupervised learning, understanding the problem and research question that you're trying to address as well. Course 2 is focused more on supervised learning. So you will be introduced into different models that are kind of state-of-the-art, such as neural networks, for example. So these are all key models that are kind of in use highly. At the moment, you will do things like XGBoost, decision trees, random forest, regression, model tuning, and more. Course 3 is focused on applying advanced data science techniques. So we're talking about natural language processing, which, as you know, is very much in trend at the moment with things and tools like ChatGPT and other AI tools that are taking advantage of these data science techniques. And you will also be doing time series analysis and forecasting as well. So that's more or less what we're covering during this Data Science Career Accelerator.
Fantastic, thank you. Next question here from Xavier. Thank you, Xavier. What's the expected profile of students and what's the level of the program? It is aimed at postgraduate. It's certainly a prerequisite to have an undergraduate degree with a quantitative unit of studies embedded within that, alongside some data-aligned work experience. So it is aimed at postgraduate level. But Kazi, I guess the profile of learners that we see, certainly in the first presentation, but any insights as to the average age and gender and all those sorts of things that we would love to know. I hate to tell you you're on mute.
My turn. There we go. You got me back.
15 all.
There we go. I think what I've certainly appreciated about the program is the diversity. It's been so beautiful because one thing we do encourage in the program is building a network and collaborating. And it's been so amazing with the group that we currently have in terms of all the different expertise and wisdom and experience that comes into place. You've got learners that are maybe not feeling so confident based on the experience, but you see that with the different elements of this program, there is something you've done in your career so far that adds value in what you are coming to do here. And that is what everybody is starting to see and learn. So we've got a variety of different ages. We've got people that are fresh out of college, and we've got people that have got years of experience and are developing themselves, and I'm trying to see where they can go with this. But it's been so beautiful to watch nonetheless how they are able to walk this journey together, support each other. And that is why I think I find advantage in the platforms we have, where they can also engage in their own space about, topics and things that they're coming across in the work that they're currently doing, and sharing of ideas. So yeah, there isn't certainly a certain age group. It's a beautiful variety of ages that we come across.
That was really well articulated, and it is the strength of the program as well, is that diverse nature of not only backgrounds but intended outcomes and so forth. I'm going to get through a few more quickly. Romulo's asked, can we choose the topic of the final project? No, this needs to be designed with industry as you're working as a part of a team of learners on that project, and it needs to meet the academic criteria as well that needs to sit under that. So we design that. We go at great lengths to design amazing industry projects that you'll be a part of. And the benefit is, even if it's in a different industry, a completely unrelated industry, it's often really beneficial to have a lens on a different industry and bring learning back to your own as well. Someone's asked the cost of the program and is the career coaching separate? The cost of the program are £8,000, and we can support you in a number of ways with 6 or 9 month payment plans. And for UK residents and visa holders of a certain length, there is a partnership with EdAid that can offer a 24-month interest and fee-free payment plan as well. Click the link to book a time with your EA, or that will be explained in the brochure. But a second part of that question for Tracy, is the coaching separate to that, or is that included?
The coaching's all included. So.
I think it's a good time for us to announce and I'm mindful that people may have to leave in 10 minutes. We've still got some questions. But to announce also that some people may have seen this in their emails and so forth, but we're so delighted with the outcomes of the Career Accelerator that we're willing and able to offer extended coaching services for those that apply before, I think it's Monday, I'll double check the date, Tracy. We're offering extended coaching, which I think is most exciting in that it enables people to go through the program, develop the skills, potentially start applying for roles, and still receive the coaching through to their intended career outcome. It's an amazing value add. And as we said earlier, one of the best outcomes from the people that go through the Career Accelerator, they always say, is not only the learning, but it is the career coaching as well. So thank you for asking that question there. I've got some others here. Simba's got a question. How might someone focus on 2 sectors while on the accelerator? I'm not sure if anyone wants to put their hand. Yeah, please, Jack. I think it's a case of go for it. And you're on mute. It's mute fest.
I think this comes back to the question of studying this course, following experience in something else, because one of the key differentiators for a data scientist is not just having the technical skills and understanding those, that obviously you need that, but having knowledge of some kind of domain in which you can apply those. And if you come to this course with experience in some area and you want to continue working in that area, then this course is extremely valuable, because you can combine the technical skills that you're learning on this course with the domain knowledge you already have. In Simba's case, I think he's saying, sorry, he or she is saying accounting, very valuable place to be applying data science. As a former employee of PwC, I know a bit about that. So yeah, I would say that don't think about it as 2 separate things, but think about how you can synthesize your knowledge from this course together with what you already know about to add value.
Exactly. Spot on. Some more questions. This is excellent that there's so many. Thank you, everyone, and last chance to get them in. We've only got a few more moments. Daniel's also asked, if someone doesn't particularly enjoy programming, would this be a hindrance for someone who would rather direct employ a team of software developers? Alexia, are you able to assist with that one?
Yes, Daniel. Yes, I can. So essentially, Daniel is right. Not Daniel, the speaker, but Daniel, the person who wrote this message. It's not a software development course. So we are not going to teach you how to create software. The aim of the course, as we have explained, is to teach you the data science skills needed. Now, of course, to do data science, you need to program, because they are written in code, okay? So if you want to employ, I don't know, neural network, you have to write the methods and the parameters you would use to run that neural network. But that's what the course will be focused on, and we will be giving you demonstrations as well as part of the asynchronous teaching, where we will show you the code, how to do that. So if there are people, for example, who are not strong or are not experienced, they will, from the demonstrations, get that knowledge. But of course, we do expect people to have at least basic understanding of Python coding, because that's a requirement. The other skills required to do the techniques that you will be learning in data science via Python, that will be taught throughout the course. So you don't need to worry about that. You just need to know, of course, the basics of programming. So for example, what a variable is, you know, loops, and all the programming constructs that you would require to be able then to understand the demonstrations that we provide you there as well.
Perfect. Thank you ever so kindly. Lakshan has asked, is the Final Loaf project a team project? Yes, you do. You are grouped with other high caliber learners and supported academically and with the Compass model as well of CASIs through the project, but you are part of a team. A couple of minutes to go, and I'm more than willing to stick around and speak to anyone that still has questions specific to the application process or wanting to ask questions relating to that, especially. What certificate do you get at the end of the program? I can answer that, or Alexia or Kazi, would you like to answer that one?
I can answer that one. So you do get a certificate at the end of the program. So it won't just be, just your record. Just to indicate as well, within the program, you are not going to be looking at percentages and so forth, but however, we will indicate that this is what you have completed, successfully completed.
Exactly. And Cozy, another one for yourself. What this is limited to 60 placements or 60 candidates for this upcoming presentation, and we do have another one in September, October. But certainly we could open it up for many, many more. However, with that project model and with the coaching one-on-one, we're constrained. But how is it that we can accommodate real-time support for even 60?
Right. Beautiful. I love that question. I think, first of all, what is amazing, and I love this webinar for that as well, you will get an opportunity to meet the team that will be supporting you. So you will know directly who is your student success manager. You will know directly who is your career coach. So this is not to say, when we say there is real-time support, that you will get an immediate response to everything. However, you are not sending requests for support to a pool and wondering who is going to be able to get to your question and be able to provide you with that feedback. What we do as well is we do share our links, our meeting links. You are able to check for availability and schedule a time that suits you and the support team member that you are looking at meeting, so that you guys are able to have that one-to-one session as well. In an event where the one-to-one session seems like maybe the calendar is a little bit too busy, you are still able to communicate with the specific member of a team that you are looking at. So that's how we are doing. And we also align our calendars to accommodate the amount of learners that we are looking at. So just a reminder that, yes, there is us on the call today, but there is a wider team as well. So not to stress too much that you are limited with the support. Thank you, Daniel.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I'm going to finish on this one. Someone's mentioned industry partners. We always have a variety, but Bank of England is confirmed again for the upcoming presentation. But Tracy, if I can ask this one, because it did catch my eye. Sophia's asked, as a recent university graduate in clinical sciences currently in full-time employment, they would like to know how well this course can prepare them for successful employment in data analytics or science. I'm self-taught on the relevant. Personally, I think that is a great profile of one of our learners. And any thoughts on specifically to Sophia's question there, Tracy?
I think it's what we've said before, what particularly Jack was saying about the practical nature of the course and the use of the portfolio. And I want to echo, the portfolio is such a brilliant tool, because the course is designed to demonstrate you can do the things that you're learning. You've not just learnt it, you can do them. And that's where the portfolio really comes in. So it's helped, the portfolios have really helped our accelerator, people in the career accelerators get interviews, get noticed because of that. But I think if you're starting out, which I think was what you're saying in the question, Daniel, then it's back to those I talked before about transferable skills. You will bring a lot in terms of the things that you've been involved with, how you've worked on projects at university, etc. So you won't start from a sort of a low base, but you have some experience. But also, I think the course linking to business so strongly, and I get this feedback from the learners, that's the thing that they've really been excited by. Again, it's not the learning in isolation, it's actually applying it in, with the business perspective through that lens. So I think that makes it, give you that extra business knowledge, as well as obviously all the technical things that you'll learn that I won't get involved with, because that's not my forte. When you start talking about loops, I zone out.
It does seem foreign to some of us, although we can see the value in the learning. Thank you all, and thanks for everyone in attendance, especially. Kazi, Alexia, Jack, and Tracy, thank you for your time. I will stick around and answer any other questions relating to how to structure a successful application or the payment plans and things like that. But for now, thank you, everyone, and thank you especially for the panel for your time as well. Hopefully we've given everyone an inspirational overview of the support that they'll receive in this most innovative program with Cambridge Institute of Continuing Education.
Thanks, Daniel. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
For everyone else, thank you ever so kindly. I would also like to answer any specific questions that you have, but I will touch on the application process first and foremost. Just a reminder, in the chat function, there is every link that you need either to book a time with myself or Otto to discuss your individual circumstances. And it's probably the best thing that you can do right now is have an empathetic conversation or a conversation with genuine empathy with us, because we'll certainly ask questions relating to your individual circumstances rather than outline the benefits of the course from the outset. And if they don't align, we'll let you know as well. Then to apply, it's quite straightforward. So the criteria is that you have an undergraduate degree with a quantitative unit of study. If you don't, I do suggest you book a time, because we can discuss alternate pathways to obtain entry into the program. In addition to that, you do need, in your professional experience, to be able to demonstrate that you've utilised data in the role that you've held previously. And lastly, it does require Python programming skills at I'd say between beginner and intermediate level. Your skills will certainly be enhanced throughout the program, but we can assist with that also. If you haven't done Python, haven't used Python before, or don't have a working knowledge of it, we certainly can assist with that. So again, it's a case of speaking to your enrolment advisor. For those of you that do, you just need to answer the questions in the personal statement. So the application would involve uploading your transcript of your unit from your under or postgraduate degrees or degree. It would involve you uploading your CV and identity document and completing a one-page personal statement as well. That's a really important piece of the application process, in that it enables the admissions committee to understand more about you than just your academic background, which is self-evident, but also Tracy and team to understand your intended outcomes from the program before they even meet with you, to develop any empathy that may be required and the like as well. And there's a link to the personal statement template in the chat as well. I haven't seen today's updates, but there are only 60 placements, and last I looked, we were at 70% capacity or even just over. But that being said, there is still time, and there certainly is still some placements available. And if you need to go away and learn Python over a longer period, we do have a third intake this year as well. The payment plans, I just wanted to touch on that a little bit more. So people can elect to pay up front, which is welcome, or you can choose a 6 or 9 month payment plan that has no fees and no interest associated with that. We also do partner with EdAid for learners inside the UK that meet the finance application criteria that they have, and they can offer a 24-month payment plan again with no fees and no interest. And that does include not only all of the 7-month, 20 hours a week content that you'll be learning with the university, but also the extended career coaching. So you'll be offered career coaching if you apply before next week, that you will get additional ongoing monthly one-on-one sessions with the coach until you achieve your intended outcome. Daniel, thanks for the additional question. No, there's not a credit facility. That's a fourth rev offer there that we can provide you as well. We want to make this accessible. It is certainly University of Cambridge's intent and the whole Institute of Continuing Education's edict to make education more accessible, and certainly make the Institute more accessible for people. So that's one way in which we've been able to do that as well. Any other questions from the audience? I think the best thing to do now is just take a moment to consider your options. You've invested a great deal of time today in attending, and that's the first step. Then it's about, making a decision or enacting what may be next for your career. And then the next step would be to either apply or to book a time. And it's been great to see some in the audience that have already gone through the application process and have already been accepted into the program. Welcome. We can't wait to celebrate your outcomes, but also engage with those around you. I think it's whenever you're looking to take on an intensive program, on top of what life already has in store for you with priorities, it is important to engage with those that may be, when I say impacted, those that may need to be aware that you are committing to this over a 7-month period, be that family, colleagues, whoever, even friends in a way, because you may need to make sacrifice over the next 7 months. I can't watch that. I can't start that Netflix series. If I get too involved in it, I won't be able to dedicate the time I need to study. Or I can't go out for drinks on the Friday night. I've got an assignment due on the Saturday. Those are the sorts of things you can expect to sacrifice over the next 7 months whilst you accelerate your career, learning the content that is going to enable your intended career outcome as well. Accounting, finance module in sufficient analytics element. Yes. The accounting, yes, it would contain quantitative methods, so that would be fine. Yes, that would be fine. And then it's obviously demonstrating some, as I think you did earlier also, Daniel, in the comments, the way in which you've handled or utilised data in your current or previous roles. I think that's going to be about it. Good on you all. Have a great weekend. We hope to welcome and support you, as I said, but we certainly hope to celebrate your career outcomes, as we're already doing with the first cohort that commenced in March. We're seeing amazing outcomes already. I'll reach out to some of you as well, and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you all. Have a great day. And thanks to Sam, who always puts together these events. See you for the next one soon.